Hi all, welcome to i-tutor Academy. In today's session, we will start with MMPC 010 Unit 4 Subsection 8, and that is tastes and preferences as determinants of demand. We all like certain things and dislikes others. A pair of identical twins brought up in the same environment may have different preferences in what they buy. Exactly how these preferences are formed and what influences them is not easy to know, and psychologists, sociologists, and social psychologists have a lot to offer in helping economists and other business analysts under how preferences are formed and altered. Even if we do not have a thorough understanding of preference structures, or one thing is clear: preference and changes is preference affect demand for goods and services. All have observed how such a thing changes in taste and preference have influenced various markets. An example is here, and convenience factors such as ease of driving and parking may also have been important. Demographic changes, especially trend towards smaller families, may have had some effect as well. And in terms of the theory, the change in preference towards fuel efficient cars will shift the demand curve of smaller cars to the right. And on the other hand, social attitude towards smoking have changed, and thus one would expect that the demand curve for cigarettes had has shifted to the left. And likewise, the growing awareness is in respect of noise and environmental pollution has resulted in a decline in the demand for crackers during the Diwali celebration. And as much as we may like to think that we know our own minds and make our own purchase decision without the influence of others, we are very likely influenced quite strongly by various peer groups, including the people with whom we work, classmates, roommates, the people with whom we socialize, and neighbors, and so on. Our decision about clothes, entertainment, college course, food, and many other things are influenced by these peer groups. From the business perspective, advertising is a key factor in the formation and alternation of consumers' taste and preferences. We can think of advertising as being either primarily informational or primarily transformational. And informational advertisement are designed to increase demand for a particular product by providing information about a product and how it is used, how much it costs, where you can buy it, what attributes it has. And newspaper advertisement often have the strongest informational component. They are designed to elicit direct purchase action on the part of consumers. And transformational advertisement are designed to influence the image of a product or service, and they attempt to enhance the satisfaction we get from a product by evoking positive images of how we will feel it we buy it. And think about television or social media commercial or for products. How much usable information do they give you? And usually not much. And they tell you the same name of the products, associate its assumption with some reference group or happy healthy looking people, and generally try to create a positive image in an attempt to alter your preference structure in favor of that product. A single exposure to such an advertisement is not usually very effective, but repeated exposure to the advertisement and similar one has been shown to influence consumer preferences. And in terms of measurement, this determinant of demand, taste, and preferences is the most difficult for analysts to handle. It is hard to identify all the things that influence taste and preferences, and often just as hard to measure those that are identified. Measures of advertising effort are sometimes used to help account for this determinant of demand. And next is other prices and determinants of demand. How much consumer buy of a product may be affected by the price charged for other goods or services as well. Okay, so here is figure 4.4, demand curve and substitute and compare. This is quantity of coke per period and price per unit is here. Quantity of tennis ball per period, complements. This is complements, this is substitutes. Okay, so this is a figure here. And this is show the effect on the demand curve following the changes in the price of a related goods or services. So both graphs are self explanatory, and earlier it was noted that the rise in the price of gasoline during the 1970s had some effect on the demand of large versus small cars in the United States. And gasoline and cars are complementary goods, and they are used together and complement one another. And when the price of gasoline rose, there were at least two effects on the automobile market. First, the higher price of gasoline increased the cost of driving and thus reduced the total cost number of miles individual tended to drive. Second, smaller, more fuel efficient cars became more attractive relative to big cars. And this relationship can be stated in more general terms. Suppose that we observe two goods, that is A and B, and a B is complementary to A. If the price of B goes up, we can expect the quantity demand for A to be reduced. Why? And because as the price of good B increase, its quantity demanded decrease according to the law of demand. And but now some individual who would have purchased B at the lower price are no longer making those purchases. Okay. This same individual now no longer have any use of for A, because A was a good useful only in conjunction with B. And thus the quantity demand of A goes down as well. And the reverse is also true. If the price of B falls, the demand for A will rise. And it should be clear why business analysts are concerned not only about the effect that their product's price has on sale, but also with the effect of the price of the complementary products. Okay. And what effect would expect of an increase in the price of a tea to have on the demand or coffee? These are substitute goods, and that is we assume that people view tea and coffee in much or the same manner, and some people would be willing to drink either depending upon the price of the two drinks and the convenience of obtaining each, and so on. So that is an example. Okay. Economists and other business analysts are therefore concerned with all other prices that may affect the products they are analyzed. The price of both complementary and substitute product can be expected to influence demand. Later in this block, so we will see how a measure called a cross price elasticity of demand can be helpful in determining whether two goods are complements and substitute or neither. And other determinants of demand, it would be monumental task to identify everything that might have some influence on the demand for the any product. So far the four most important influence have been identified: a product price, income, taste and preference, and the price of complementary or substitute product. Okay, these are we identified. And this is all about this unit, and the summary of this unit is here. Demand analysis is a necessary information input into the business decision process, since in a sense demand fundamentally determines what is to be produced and at what price. Accordingly, business economists use demand analysis to discover the various factors determining the demand for a given product or service. And the law of demand states that consumers are willing and able to purchase more unit of a good or service at lower price than at a higher price, other things being constant. The law of demand arises from two effects occurring when the price of a given good is changed: and income and substitute. The income effect states that a given fixed budget increase in a product price leave less income for other goods, and the substitution effect says that consumers tended to substitute cheaper goods for more expensive goods. And the market demand curve is the horizontal summation of all consumer demand in the market, and the market demand curve relates the total quantity demanded of a product to its own price on the assumption that all other prices and total income of the individual buying in that market and its distribution, taste and all other influencing variable are held constant. And the total quantity demanded in any market depends upon the price of the product being sold, and on the prices of all other products, on the income of the individual buying in the market, and on the distribution of income among the individuals, and taste, and a number of other influencing variables. That's it. Okay, so keywords are here. If you feel any words are difficult, you just refer this section. And self assessment questions also here. It's very important for your term and examination. Please do and practice it. It's important like your assignment. And in between any doubts, you can contact us anytime. And for more MBA series, you just do like, share, and subscribe our channel. Thank you so much.
i-tutor Academy presents IGNOU MBA Complete Syllabus Coverage Classes for individual students, semester-wise subject with online flexible timing. For more details, contact on +91 623 827 1885